The discovery. The vast emptiness of space stretched out before Captain Elena Rodriguez as she gazed through the viewport of the ESS Curiosity. The exploration vessel, humanity's most advanced long-range scout ship, had been traversing the uncharted regions beyond the Kuiper Belt for the past 6 months. Their mission? To push the boundaries of human knowledge and seek out potential resources for Earth's ever-growing population. Elena's dark eyes reflected the pinpricks of distant stars as she absently twirled a lock of her short, curly hair. "Status report, Dr. Chen," she called out, her voice cutting through the low hum of the ship's systems. Dr. Lian Chen, the ship's chief scientist, looked up from his console, his weathered face creased with concentration as he adjusted his glasses. "All systems nominal, Captain. We're approaching the outer edge of the Oort cloud. Sensors are picking up some unusual readings, but nothing concrete yet." Elena nodded, a small smile playing on her lips. Unusual readings were what they lived for out here. "Keep me posted, Ensign Patel. Maintain our current course and speed." "Aye, Captain," responded Aisha Patel, her fingers dancing over the navigation controls with practiced ease. As the Curiosity continued its journey into the unknown, Elena couldn't shake the feeling that something momentous was about to occur. Call it intuition, or just the excitement of exploration, but there was an electricity in the air that set her nerves on edge. Hours passed in relative quiet, broken only by the occasional status update or soft conversation among the crew. Then, without warning, alarms blared throughout the ship. "Captain." Dr. Chen's voice was sharp with urgency. "We're detecting a massive energy spike directly ahead." Elena snapped to attention. On screen, the main view screen flickered to life, revealing a sight that took everyone's breath away. Against the backdrop of space, a colossal structure shimmered into existence. It was unlike anything they had ever seen. A vast, intricate lattice of gleaming metal and pulsing energy, easily the size of a small moon. "My God," whispered Elena, her eyes wide with awe. "What is that?" Dr. Chen's fingers flew over his console as he analyzed the incoming data. "It appears to be some kind of artificial construct, Captain. The energy readings are off the charts. I've never seen anything like it." "Is it a ship?" asked Aisha, her voice tinged with both fear and excitement. "I don't think so," replied Chen. "It's not moving. If I had to guess, I'd say it's some kind of station, or maybe even a gateway." Elena's mind raced with the implications. They had just made the greatest discovery in human history, irrefutable proof of intelligent alien life. And not just any life, but a civilization capable of building structures on a scale that dwarfed anything humanity had ever achieved. "Ensign Patel, bring us to a full stop. Maintain a safe distance from the object," Elena ordered. "Dr. Chen, I want every sensor we have trained on that thing. Record everything." As the crew scrambled to carry out her orders, Elena activated the ship-wide comm. "Attention all hands. This is the captain speaking. We have encountered an alien artifact of unknown origin and purpose. This is not a drill. I repeat, this is not a drill. All personnel, report to your stations and stand by for further instructions." The next few hours were a flurry of activity as the crew of the Curiosity worked tirelessly to gather as much data as possible about the mysterious structure. Elena pored over the reports, trying to make sense of what they were seeing. "Captain," Dr. Chen called out, his voice trembling slightly. I think it's activating." Elena's head snapped up just in time to see the alien construct pulse with blinding light. A beam of energy shot out from its center, enveloping the Curiosity in a shimmering field. "Evasive maneuvers," Elena shouted, but it was too late. The ship shuddered, and for a moment, it felt as if reality itself was bending around them. When the light faded and the disorientation passed, Elena realized with a start that the stars outside the viewport had changed. They were no longer in the same part of space. "Status report," she demanded, fighting to keep the panic out of her voice. "All systems operational, Captain," replied Aisha, her face pale but composed. "But we're not where we were. According to the nav computer, we've traveled several light years in an instant." Before Elena could process this information, a new alert sounded. "Captain, we're being hailed," announced the communications officer, his voice tight with tension. Elena took a deep breath, steeling herself for what was to come. "On screen," she ordered. The view screen flickered, and Elena found herself face to face with something utterly alien. The being before her was vaguely humanoid, with iridescent skin that seemed to shift and flow like liquid metal. Its eyes, if they could be called that, were swirling pools of light that somehow conveyed both ancient wisdom and childlike curiosity. "Greetings, travelers," the alien spoke, its voice resonating not through the ship's speakers, but directly in Elena's mind. "We are the Axiom. We have awaited your arrival for eons." Elena swallowed hard, acutely aware that she was about to become the first human to engage in conversation with an extraterrestrial intelligence. "I am Captain Elena Rodriguez of the Earth ship Curiosity. We come in peace and in the spirit of exploration." The alien's form rippled, an expression Elena interpreted as approval. "Your journey here was not by chance, Elena Rodriguez. Your species has been observed, studied, and deemed ready for the next step." "The next step," Elena echoed, a mixture of confusion and anticipation swirling in her gut. "The galaxy stands on the brink of chaos," the Axiom continued. "A threat looms that could extinguish all life as we know it. We have searched long for a species with the potential to turn the tide. A species with the right balance of innovation, adaptability, and determination. We believe humanity may be that species." Elena's mind reeled at the implications. "You're saying that you brought us here? That you've been watching us?" "Yes," the Axiom confirmed. "The structure you encountered is one of many nexus points scattered throughout the galaxy. They allow for instantaneous travel between distant stars, a network built by those who came before us, and now maintained by the Axiom for the benefit of all sentient life." "But why us?" Elena asked, voicing the question that burned in her mind. "Surely there are other, more advanced civilizations out there." The alien's form shimmered, and Elena sensed a mix of sadness and hope in its response. "Advanced technology alone is not enough to face what is coming. We have seen great empires rise and fall, their hubris leading to their downfall. Humanity, despite its flaws, or perhaps because of them, possesses a unique spark. You question, you adapt, you persevere in the face of impossible odds. These qualities may well be the key to survival." Elena felt the weight of responsibility settle on her shoulders. Whatever this threat was, it was clear that the fate of not just humanity, but perhaps all life in the galaxy, hung in the balance. She straightened her back, meeting the Axiom's gaze with determination. "We're listening," she said. "Tell us what we need to know." As the Axiom began to explain the nature of the impending crisis, Elena couldn't help but feel a mix of terror and exhilaration. Humanity had dreamed of this moment for centuries. First contact with an alien civilization, but never in their wildest imaginations had they thought it would come with such high stakes. The crew of the Curiosity listened in rapt attention as the Axiom painted a picture of a galaxy teeming with life, bound together by the ancient network of nexus points. But this interconnected utopia was under threat from a force known only as the Void, a relentless, all-consuming entity that sought to reduce all of creation to nothingness. "The Void has already consumed countless worlds," the Axiom explained, its mental voice heavy with sorrow. "Many of the elder races have fallen or retreated to the farthest corners of the galaxy. Those of us who remain have been fighting a losing battle for millennia. But what can we do?" Elena asked, her mind struggling to grasp the enormity of the situation. "We're just one ship, from a species that's barely taken its first steps into interstellar space." The Axiom's form pulsed with what Elena interpreted as fierce determination. You underestimate yourselves, Alina Rodriguez. Your ship, your crew. You are but a sample of humanity's potential. We will share with you knowledge and technology beyond your current understanding. With it, you must return to your homeworld and prepare your species for what is to come. Dr. Chen, who had been quietly analyzing data throughout the conversation, spoke up. The level of advancement you're talking about, it would revolutionize every aspect of our society. The political and social ramifications alone are staggering. Indeed, the Axiom acknowledge. The path ahead will not be easy. Your species must unite and evolve faster than any civilization we have encountered before. But we believe you have the capacity to do so. Alina took a deep breath, her mind racing with the implications. This wasn't just first contact. It was a call to arms, a challenge that would define the future of humanity and perhaps all life in the galaxy. We'll do it, she said, her voice firm with resolve. Whatever it takes, we'll find a way. Humanity has faced extinction-level threats before, if only on a planetary scale. We've always found a way to survive, to adapt, to overcome. We'll do it again. The Axiom's form shimmered with what Alina could only describe as hope. Then let us begin. Time is short, and there is much to learn. As the alien intelligence began to transmit vast amounts of data to the Curiosity's computers, Alina turned to her crew. She saw in their eyes the same mix of fear, excitement, and determination that she felt. "Well, ladies and gentlemen," she said, a wry smile on her face, "it looks like our mission parameters have changed somewhat. We set out to push the boundaries of human knowledge. Instead, we've been handed the key to humanity's future, and perhaps the future of all life in the galaxy." She paused, looking each member of her crew in the eye. "The road ahead will be unlike anything we've ever faced. But I can't think of a group of people I'd rather have by my side as we take this leap into the unknown. Whatever comes next, we face it together, for Earth, for humanity, and for all the beings counting on us across the stars." As the crew of the Curiosity steeled themselves for the monumental task ahead, Alina turned back to the view screen, where the Axiom waited patiently. The vastness of space stretched out before them, no longer an empty void, but a galaxy teeming with life, danger, and possibility. Humanity's greatest adventure was about to begin. The Alliance. The return journey to Earth was a blur of frantic activity for the crew of the ESS Curiosity. Captain Alina Rodriguez spent countless hours poring over the vast amounts of data provided by the Axiom, her mind reeling with the implications of what they had learned. The fate of not just humanity, but the entire galaxy now rested on their shoulders. As they approached the outskirts of the solar system, Alina gathered her senior staff in the ship's conference room. The atmosphere was tense, a mix of excitement and apprehension hanging in the air. "All right, people," Alina began, her voice steady despite the weight of responsibility she felt. "In a few hours, we'll be back in Earth's orbit. The moment we make contact, everything changes. Dr. Chen, give us a summary of what we're dealing with." Dr. Lian Chen nodded, his usually calm demeanor betraying a hint of nervous energy. "The threat we face, this void as the Axiom calls it, is unlike anything we've ever encountered. It's not a conventional enemy in any sense we understand. From what we can gather, it's more like a force of nature, a cosmic aberration that consumes everything in its path, reducing matter and energy to absolute nothingness." He paused, letting the gravity of his words sink in. "The good news, if you can call it that, is that the void's expansion is not instantaneous. We have time, not much, but enough to prepare if we act quickly and decisively." Ensign Aisha Patel spoke up, her young face creased with concern. "But how do we fight something like that? It sounds more like a black hole than an enemy we can shoot at." Alina nodded grimly. "That's where the Axiom's knowledge comes in. They've provided us with blueprints for technology far beyond our current capabilities. Weapons that can disrupt the void's expansion, shields that can withstand its effects, and propulsion systems that will allow us to evacuate entire planets if necessary. The challenge, Dr. Chen added, will be implementing this technology quickly enough. We're talking about scientific advancements that would normally take centuries to develop and perfect. We need to do it in years, maybe even months. The room fell silent as the enormity of the task ahead sank in. It was Commander Jack Harper, the ship's taciturn chief of security, who finally broke the silence. "With all due respect, Captain," he said, his gruff voice tinged with skepticism, "how do we know we can trust these Axum? For all we know, this could be some elaborate trap." Elena had been wrestling with this very question since their encounter. "I understand your concerns, Commander. But I've seen what's out there, felt the Axum's presence in my mind. They're not lying about the threat. And frankly, even if there's a 1% chance they're telling the truth, we can't afford to ignore it." She stood, looking each of her officers in the eye. "Make no mistake, what we're about to do will change the course of human history. There will be resistance, fear, and chaos. But we don't have the luxury of time for lengthy debates or global consensus. We need to act, and we need to act now." As the Curiosity entered Earth's orbit, Elena steeled herself for what was to come. The ship's communications officer had already made contact with Mission Control, requesting an immediate audience with the UN Security Council and the world's leading scientific minds. The next few weeks were a whirlwind of debriefings, heated arguments, and frantic planning. Elena found herself at the center of a global storm, testifying before world leaders, explaining complex alien concepts to skeptical scientists, and trying to convey the urgency of their situation to a wary public. Conspiracy theories ran rampant. Some claimed the crew of the Curiosity had gone mad from prolonged space exposure. Others suggested it was all an elaborate hoax designed to unite humanity under a false threat. But as the Axum's technology was put to the test, even the most ardent skeptics found it hard to deny the evidence before them. 6 months after their return, Elena stood on the bridge of humanity's first faster-than-light capable warship, the UES Defiant. Built using a fusion of human ingenuity and Axiom technology, it represented the first fruits of their fledgling alliance. "All systems are go, Captain," reported Commander Harper, now her XO on this new vessel. "We're ready to make the jump to the rendezvous point." Elena nodded, a mix of pride and trepidation coursing through her. "Engage FTL drive, Commander. Let's see what this ship can do." The stars outside the viewscreen blurred into streaks of light as the Defiant leaped into faster-than-light travel. Moments later, they emerged in a distant star system, where a fleet of Axiom ships awaited them. The familiar mental voice of the Axiom filled Elena's mind. "You have done well, Elena Rodriguez. Your species has surpassed even our optimistic projections." "We're learning fast," Elena replied, a hint of pride in her voice. "But we still have a long way to go." "Indeed," the Axiom agreed. "The real test is yet to come. Are you prepared to witness the true nature of the threat we face?" Elena squared her shoulders, her jaw set with determination. "We're ready. Show us what we're up against." The Axiom ships moved in formation, creating a massive energy field. Within this field, a window seemed to open in the fabric of space itself, revealing a sight that made Elena's blood run cold. Beyond the window lay utter desolation. Where there should have been stars, planets, the vibrant tapestry of the cosmos, there was nothing. Not darkness, not empty space, but a complete absence of everything. It was as if that section of the universe had simply ceased to exist. "By all that's holy," whispered Commander Harper, his usual stoicism shattered by the sight before them. "That," the Axiom's voice resonated in their minds, "is the void. What you see is the aftermath of its passage through a sector that once teemed with life. Hundreds of civilizations, thousands of worlds, countless stars, all gone, as if they never existed." Elena felt a chill run down her spine. The threat was real, more terrifying than anything she could have imagined. But along with the fear came a surge of determination. This was why they had pushed themselves to the limit, why they had turned their world upside down in a matter of months. "How long?" she asked, her voice barely above a whisper. "At its current rate of expansion, the void will reach the outer edges of your galaxy within 5 of your Earth years," the Axiom replied. "But that is merely the beginning. Once it gains a foothold, its growth will accelerate exponentially." Elena turned to her crew, seeing in their eyes the same mix of fear and resolve that she felt. "You all volunteered for this mission knowing the risks," she said. "But I don't think any of us truly understood the stakes until now. This isn't just about saving Earth or even humanity. It's about preserving the very existence of life itself." She paused, gathering her thoughts. "I won't lie to you. The odds are stacked against us. We're racing against time, fighting an enemy we barely understand. But look how far we've come in just a few months. Imagine what we can achieve in the years we have left." Commander Harper spoke up, his voice gruff but filled with conviction. "We've faced extinction before, Captain. Our ancestors survived ice ages, plagues, and their own destructive tendencies. If anyone can find a way to stop this thing, it's us." Elena nodded, a small smile playing on her lips despite the gravity of the situation. "Well said, Commander. We didn't come this far to give up now." She turned back to the view screen, addressing the Axiom. "We're ready to take the next step. What's our plan of action?" The Axiom's response carried a note of approval. "We will begin by establishing a network of early warning beacons throughout your galaxy. These will allow us to track the void's movements and predict its path. Simultaneously, we must work on developing weapons capable of disrupting its expansion. And evacuation protocols," Elena added. "We need to be prepared to move entire populations if necessary." "Agreed," the Axiom concurred. "Your adaptability will be crucial in the coming conflict. We will provide you with the knowledge, but it will be up to humanity to implement it in ways we may not have considered." As the human and Axiom ships began their joint operations, Elena couldn't help but feel a sense of awe at how quickly things had changed. Just months ago, humanity had been alone in the universe, taking its first tentative steps beyond their solar system. Now they stood shoulder to shoulder, figuratively speaking, with an advanced alien race, preparing to face a threat of cosmic proportions. The next few years would be crucial. Humanity would need to unite as never before, setting aside old rivalries and prejudices in the face of this existential threat. They would need to push the boundaries of science and technology, making leaps that would normally take generations in a matter of months. But as Elena looked at her crew, at the determination in their eyes and the set of their jaws, she felt a surge of hope. Humanity had been chosen for a reason. They were innovative, adaptable, and above all, stubborn in the face of impossible odds. If anyone could find a way to stop the void, to preserve the rich tapestry of life in the galaxy, it was them. As the Defiant moved into formation with the Axiom fleet ready to begin their first joint mission, Elena allowed herself a small smile. The greatest challenge in human history lay ahead, but so did their greatest adventure. Whatever the future held, humanity would face it head-on, with courage, ingenuity, and an unwavering determination to survive. The battle for existence had begun. The invasion begins. 4 years had passed since humanity's fateful encounter with the Axiom. In that time, Earth had undergone a transformation unlike anything in its history. The looming threat of the void had united the planet in ways once thought impossible. Old rivalries were set aside, resources pooled, and every aspect of human society was geared towards a single goal: survival. Captain Elena Rodriguez stood on the bridge of the UES Defiant, her eyes fixed on the holographic display that dominated the center of the room. The image showed a real-time map of the Milky Way, with a sinister, ever-expanding blot of nothingness creeping towards the edges of the galaxy. "Status report," she commanded, her voice tight with tension. Dr. Lian Chen, now the head of Earth's Void Research Division, stepped forward. "The Void's expansion has accelerated, Captain. At its current rate, it will reach the outer rim of the solar system within 72 hours. A hushed murmur ran through the bridge crew. They had known this day was coming, had prepared for it relentlessly, but the reality of it was still shocking. Commander Jack Harper, his face lined with the stress of the past 4 years, spoke up. "What's the status of the evacuation, Doctor?" Chen's face was grim. "We've managed to relocate 40% of Earth's population to the sanctuary worlds provided by the Axiom. Another 30% are in the process of being moved. But we're running out of time," Elena finished for him. She took a deep breath, steeling herself for what was to come. "All right, people. This is what we've been preparing for. Initiate Operation Bulwark." As her orders were relayed throughout the ship and to the rest of the human Axiom fleet, Elena couldn't help but reflect on how far they'd come. The technology they now wielded would have seemed like magic just a few years ago. Faster than light travel, energy shields capable of withstanding the void's corrupting influence, weapons that could disrupt the very fabric of space-time. All of it developed through the fusion of Axiom knowledge and human innovation. But would it be enough? The next 72 hours were a blur of activity. Ships from every corner of human-controlled space converged on the solar system. Some were warships, bristling with weaponry. Others were massive Orcs, filled with the remaining evacuees from Earth and the other populated worlds of the system. As the deadline approached, Elena addressed the combined fleet. Her face was broadcast to every ship, every bunker, every safe house where humans huddled in fear and hope. To all ships and ground forces, she began, her voice steady despite the weight of the moment. "The enemy we face today is unlike any humanity has encountered in its long and turbulent history. The void is not a foe we can reason with, negotiate with, or intimidate. It is a force of cosmic destruction that threatens not just our lives, but our very existence." She paused, letting her words sink in. "But we are not facing this threat alone. We stand shoulder to shoulder with the Axiom, and with every other species that has joined our alliance. More importantly, we stand together as one human race, united in our determination to survive. We have prepared for this moment for 4 years. Every advance in science, every breakthrough in technology, every drop of sweat and blood we've shed, it has all led to this. We may be facing an enemy that defies comprehension, but we have one advantage it can never match: the indomitable human spirit. Remember, we're not just fighting for ourselves. We're fighting for every species that has fallen to the void, for every world that has been erased from existence. We're fighting for the very concept of life itself. So when you look into that approaching darkness, know that the light of billions of souls stands with you. We are humanity. We endure. We overcome. And today, we fight." A chorus of cheers erupted across the communication channels. As Elena finished her speech, the sensors blared a warning. The void had arrived. The sight that greeted them defied description. It was as if a piece of the universe had simply ceased to exist, replaced by a nothingness that hurt the eyes to look at. The edges of this cosmic aberration writhed and pulsed, reaching out tendrils of non-existence that threatened to engulf everything in their path. "All ships, assume defensive positions," Elena commanded. "Activate void shields and prepare to fire on my mark." The human Axiom fleet moved with practiced precision, forming a multi-layered barrier between the void and the inner solar system. The Axiom ships, sleek and otherworldly, took the forefront, their advanced technology giving them the best chance of withstanding the void's corruption. "Enemy contacts detected," reported the sensor officer, her voice tight with tension. "Multiple void-corrupted ships approaching at high speed." Elena's jaw clenched. They had encountered these before, ships of fallen civilizations, twisted and warped by the void's influence, now serving as its vanguard. "Weapons free," she ordered. "Engage at will." The space around them erupted in a dazzling display of energy weapons and explosions. Human ingenuity had taken the Axiom's weapons technology and pushed it to new limits. Beams of concentrated anti-void energy lanced out from the Defiant and her sister ships, carving swaths through the corrupted fleet. But for every enemy ship they destroyed, the void seemed to spawn two more. And all the while, that creeping nothingness edged closer, devouring stray asteroids and small moons in its path. "Captain," Dr. Chen's voice cut through the chaos of battle. "I'm detecting a pattern in the void's expansion. There are fluctuations, moments of weakness we might be able to exploit." Elena's mind raced. This was the kind of opportunity they had been waiting for. "Transmit your findings to the fleet," she ordered. "Commander Harper, prepare a strike team. We're going to hit the void where it hurts." As Harper assembled a group of their best pilots and scientists, Elena coordinated with the Axiom ships. They would need to create a diversion, drawing the bulk of the corrupted fleet away from the area Dr. Chen had identified. The plan was dangerous, bordering on suicidal. They would use a specially modified ship, its hull lined with experimental void-resistant material, to penetrate the edge of the nothingness. Once inside, they would deploy a device designed to create a cascading disruption in the void structure. "I should be leading this mission," Elena said, frustration evident in her voice. Harper shook his head. "Negative, Captain. You're needed here to coordinate the fleet. I'll lead the strike team." For a moment, Elena wanted to argue, but she knew he was right. "Very well, Commander. But you better come back in one piece." "That's an order." Harper allowed himself a grim smile. "Why, Captain." As the strike team prepared to launch, the main fleet engaged in a fierce battle with the corrupted ships. The void of space was filled with the flash of weapons fire and the silent explosions of destroyed vessels. Elena watched anxiously as Harper's ship, flanked by a squadron of fighters, made its approach. They weaved through the chaos of battle, taking advantage of the momentary weakening in the void's defenses that Dr. Chen had detected. For a heart-stopping moment, it looked like they wouldn't make it. A tendril of nothingness reached out, nearly engulfing one of the escort fighters. But at the last second, Harper's ship fired its main weapon, a concentrated burst of anti-void energy that carved a path through the encroaching darkness. "They're in," shouted the sensor officer. Now came the hardest part, the waiting. Long seconds ticked by as Elena and her crew held their breath, fighting to hold the line against the seemingly endless waves of corrupted ships. Then, without warning, a blinding flash of light erupted from within the void. For a moment, it was as if a new star had been born in the heart of nothingness. The light expanded rapidly, pushing back the edges of the void. "It worked," Dr. Chen exclaimed, his usually calm demeanor breaking into an expression of pure joy. "The void's expansion has been halted in this sector." A cheer went up across the fleet, but Elena's celebration was short-lived. "What about the strike team?" she demanded. For several agonizing moments, there was no response. Then, a crackle of static over the comm, and a familiar gruff voice. "Defiant, this is Harper. Mission accomplished. Requesting immediate extraction. This place isn't exactly hospitable." Elena let out a breath she hadn't realized she'd been holding. "You heard the man," she said, a smile breaking through her professional demeanor. "Let's bring our people home." As the rescue ships moved in to retrieve Harper and his team, Elena turned her attention back to the battle at large. They had won a significant victory today, proving that the void could be fought, could be pushed back, but this was just the beginning. The void still threatened countless other sectors of the galaxy. The corrupted fleet, though diminished, continued to press their attack, and there was no guarantee that the void wouldn't find a way to adapt to their tactics. But as Elena looked around at her crew, at the determination in their eyes and the set of their jaws, she felt a surge of pride and hope. Humanity had faced its greatest challenge and emerged victorious. They had proven themselves worthy allies to the Axiom and the other races that had joined their cause. The road ahead would be long and fraught with danger. But they had taken the first crucial step. They had shown the galaxy that the void could be beaten, that existence itself had a champion in humanity and its allies. As the fleet regrouped and prepared for the next phase of the war, Alina allowed herself a moment of quiet reflection. They had done the impossible today, and tomorrow they would do it again, because that's what humans did. They endured, they adapted, they overcame. The battle for the galaxy had only just begun, but humanity was ready to face whatever challenges lay ahead. Together, united with their alien allies, they would fight to preserve the light of life against the encroaching darkness of the void. The invasion had begun, but so had humanity's finest hour. The turning point. 2 years had passed since humanity's first major victory against the void. The war had raged across the galaxy, a constant struggle of adaptation and counter-adaptation. For every breakthrough made by the Human-Exium Alliance, the void seemed to evolve, finding new ways to corrupt and consume. Captain Alina Rodriguez stood in the war room of Nexus Station, a massive space installation that served as the headquarters for the Allied forces. The holographic display before her showed the current state of the galaxy, a tapestry of stars and planets interwoven with the creeping tendrils of the void. "We're losing ground," Commander Jack Harper said, his voice grim as he studied the map. The scars on his face, earned during his daring mission into the heart of the void 2 years ago, seemed to deepen with his frown. Alina nodded, her expression equally somber. The void's rate of expansion has increased by 15% in the last month alone. Our current strategies are no longer effective enough. Dr. Lian Chen, his hair now streaked with gray, stepped forward. "Captain, Commander, I believe I may have a solution. But it's risky." "At this point, Doctor, I think we're well past worrying about risks," Alina said. "What do you have?" Chen activated a subroutine in the holographic display, bringing up a complex series of equations and diagrams. "We've been fighting the void as if it's a force of nature, something that can be pushed back, but not truly defeated. But what if we've been looking at it all wrong?" He manipulated the display, zooming in on a particular section. "Our latest analysis suggests that the void isn't just consuming reality, it's replacing it with its own form of existence, a kind of anti-reality, if you will." Harper's eyes narrowed. "Are you saying the void is alive?" "Not alive in any way we understand," Chen clarified. "But it does seem to have a form of consciousness, a driving force behind its expansion. And where there's consciousness, there's a way to fight back." Alina finished, a spark of hope igniting in her chest. "What are you proposing, Doctor?" Chen took a deep breath. "A mind link. We use the Axiom's telepathic technology, combined with our own advancements in neural interfacing, to send a team directly into the consciousness of the void itself." The room fell silent as the implications of Chen's proposal sank in. It was Harper who finally broke the silence. "That's insane. You're talking about sending people into what? The mind of cosmic horror?" "Essentially, yes," Chen admitted. "But if we can interface with the void's consciousness, we might be able to understand it. And if we can understand it, we can find a way to stop it," Alina finished. She turned to the Axiom representative, a being of swirling light and energy that had been silently observing the exchange. "Is this possible?" The Axiom's thoughts resonated in their minds. "It is possible, but extremely dangerous. The minds of those who enter the void would be at risk of corruption or complete dissolution. However, it may be our best chance at turning the tide of this war." Alina's mind raced, weighing the risks against the potential rewards. They were running out of options, and time was not on their side. "How soon can we be ready?" she asked. "We can have the interface prepared within a week," Chen replied. "But Captain, the team that goes in, they might not come back. And even if they do, they may not be the same." Alina nodded, her decision already made. "I'll lead the team myself." "Like hell you will," Harper interjected. "You're too valuable to the fleet. I'll go." "We both go," Alina said firmly. "Along with Dr. Chen, and a small team of our best. We can't afford to send anyone less qualified for this mission." The next week was a blur of preparation. As Chen and his team worked tirelessly to perfect the MindLink technology, Alina and Harper assembled their team and underwent intensive mental training. The axiom provided insights into protecting one's mind from cosmic influences, but even they admitted that nothing could fully prepare them for what they might encounter within the void. On the day of the mission, Alina stood before her chosen team in the specially prepared chamber. The walls were lined with a dizzying array of technology, a fusion of human innovation and axiom wisdom. "I won't lie to you," she said, looking each member in the eye. "What we're about to attempt has never been done before. We're going to dive into the mind of an entity that defies our understanding of reality itself. Some of us may not come back. But remember this, every sentient being in this galaxy is counting on us. If we succeed, we might just save existence itself." She paused, allowing her words to sink in. "It has been the highest honor of my life to serve with each and every one of you. Now let's go make history." As they took their positions in the neural interface pods, Alina felt a mix of fear and exhilaration. This was the moment everything had been building towards. She caught Harper's eye, and he gave her a nod of reassurance. Whatever they faced, they would face it together. Initiating MindLink in 3, 2, 1. Chen's voice faded away as Alina's consciousness was catapulted into a realm beyond imagination. The experience defied description. It was as if they were simultaneously everywhere and nowhere, their minds stretched across the vast expanse of the void's consciousness. Concepts like up, down, past, and future lost all meaning. They were adrift in an ocean of anti-reality, where the very laws of physics were more like gentle suggestions. Through the chaos, Alina fought to maintain her sense of self. She could feel the presence of her team around her, flickering beacons of humanity in this sea of otherness. And beneath it all, a vast, alien intelligence, the mind of the void itself. It took all of their combined will and the protective measures provided by the axiom to shield themselves from the corrupting influence of the void. Even so, Alina could feel it probing at the edges of her consciousness, seeking a way in. "Focus," she projected to her team, unsure if she was speaking or merely thinking. "We need to find the core, the driving force behind the void's expansion." They pushed deeper into the cosmic consciousness, navigating currents of thought and emotion that were utterly alien to human experience. And then, suddenly, they found it, the heart of the void. It was lonely, achingly, infinitely lonely. The void, they realized with a shock, was not malevolent. It was a being of unimaginable age and power, the last survivor of a universe long dead. It consumed not out of malice, but out of a desperate need to fill the emptiness within itself. The realization hit them all at once, a moment of perfect clarity in the midst of chaos. The void could not be destroyed, but it could be understood. It could be communicated with. With every ounce of mental strength she possessed, Alina reached out to the ancient consciousness. She showed it memories of Earth, of humanity, of the myriad species that populated the galaxy. She shared the joy of connection, the beauty of diversity, the strength found in unity. For a moment that seemed to last an eternity, nothing happened. Then, slowly, the void responded. It was like a tsunami of emotion and memory. Eons of solitude, the pain of being the last of its kind, the fear of fading into true nothingness. Alina felt her heart break for this cosmic entity, even as she fought to maintain her own identity against the overwhelming flood of alien thought. With the last of her strength, she offered the void a choice, a chance to end its loneliness, to join with the tapestry of life rather than consuming it. The response was immediate and overwhelming. The void's expansion halted, its consciousness recoiling from the worlds it had been poised to consume. In that moment, Alina knew they had succeeded. But the strain was too much. As the void retreated, Alina felt her grip on reality slipping. Her last conscious thought was of her team, hoping against hope that they would make it back. Alina awoke to the sterile white of a medical bay. Her whole body ached, and her mind felt as if it had been stretched to its limits and beyond. But she was alive. "Welcome back, Captain," came Harper's gruff voice from beside her. He looked haggard, with dark circles under his eyes, but very much alive. "You had us worried for a while there." "The team," Elena managed to croak out. "All accounted for," Harper replied with a small smile. "A bit worse for wear, but we made it." Dr. Chen appeared on her other side, his face a mix of exhaustion and excitement. "Captain, what you've accomplished, it's beyond our wildest expectations. The void has completely halted its expansion. More than that, it's changing." He brought up a holographic display, showing the galaxy. Where once the void had been a creeping darkness, now it was a swirling iridescent nebula. "It's not consuming anymore," Chen explained. "It's creating. New stars, new worlds. It's as if it's trying to give back what it took." Elena felt a wave of emotion wash over her. They had done it. They had not only saved the galaxy, but had transformed an ancient, lonely entity into a force for creation rather than destruction. As she looked at the faces of her team, at the joy and wonder in their eyes, Elena felt a profound sense of pride. Humanity had faced its greatest challenge and emerged not just victorious, but transformed. They had reached across the gulf of understanding to touch the mind of the cosmos itself. The war was over, but the greatest adventure, the exploration of a galaxy reborn, in partnership with the very force they had once fought against, was just beginning. As Elena drifted off to sleep, her mind filled with visions of the wonders that awaited them, she knew that whatever challenges the future held, humanity would face them with the same courage, ingenuity, and compassion that had brought them to this moment. The universe, in all its infinite mystery, was waiting, and humanity was ready to embrace it. The new frontier. A decade had passed since the fateful mission that had transformed the void from an existential threat into a cosmic ally. The galaxy was healing, slowly but surely, as the once destructive force now seeded new life throughout the cosmos. Captain Elena Rodriguez, now Admiral Rodriguez, stood at the observation deck of Harmony Station, a massive space installation orbiting a star system on the border between known space and the transformed void. The view before her was breathtaking. Swirling nebula of iridescent colors danced across the starfield, occasionally coalescing into newborn stars and planets. It was a constant reminder of how much had changed and how much there was still to discover. "Quite a view, isn't it?" came a familiar gruff voice. Commander Jack Harper, his hair now more gray than black, joined Elena at the window. "Never gets old," Elena replied with a smile. "To think, just a decade ago, we were fighting for our very existence. And now we're playing nursemaid to a universe in rebirth," Harper finished. "Hell of a career change." Their quiet contemplation was interrupted by the arrival of Dr. Lian Chen, his face lined with age, but his eyes still bright with curiosity. "Admiral, Commander, the Council is ready for you." Elena nodded, taking one last look at the cosmic display before following Chen to the station's central chamber. There, representatives from every major species in the galaxy, and a few from beyond, had gathered. The Axiom, their first alien allies, were present, their energy forms pulsing with anticipation. Beside them were the Zarthak, a silicon-based life form whose world had been one of the first to be restored by the transformed void. Dozens of other species filled the room, each with their own unique story of survival and renewal. At the center of it all, connected through a specially designed interface, was the consciousness they now called the cosmos, the entity that had once been the void. Its presence filled the chamber with a sense of ancient wisdom and childlike wonder. "Friends, allies, fellow sentients," Elena began, her voice carrying across the assembly. "We stand here today at the dawn of a new era. 10 years ago, we faced extinction. Today, we face a future brighter than any of us could have imagined." She gestured to the holographic display at the center of the room, showing the restored and newborn worlds scattered across the galaxy. The cosmos has kept its promise. Worlds once thought lost forever have been reborn. New planets, teeming with potential life, have been created. But with this gift comes great responsibility. Harper stepped forward. Our mission is no longer one of survival, but of stewardship. We must guide these fledgling worlds, protect them as they grow, and ensure that the mistakes of the past are not repeated. Dr. Chen activated another display, this one showing the intricate network of void, now cosmos, energy that connected the galaxy. We've only begun to understand the true potential of the cosmos. Its energy can be harnessed not just for creation, but for healing, for exploration, for pushing the boundaries of what we thought possible. The Axiom representative spoke next, its thoughts resonating in the minds of all present. The human ability to empathize, to reach across the gulf of understanding, and touch the heart of an alien consciousness, has changed the course of cosmic history. It is a gift that must be nurtured and shared. Elena nodded in agreement, which brings us to the proposal before this council. Project Prometheus, a joint initiative to explore the farthest reaches of the transformed void, to seek out new life and new civilizations, and to share the knowledge and understanding we've gained. The chamber buzzed with excited discussion. The prospect of exploring uncharted regions of space, of making contact with truly alien life forms, was intoxicating. But there were also voices of caution, reminding all present of the responsibility such power entailed. As the debate continued, Elena found her mind wandering back to that crucial moment a decade ago, when she and her team had touched the mind of the cosmos. The memory was still vivid. The loneliness, the fear, and then the joyous awakening to connection and purpose. It had changed her, changed all of them, in ways they were still discovering. The voice of the cosmos itself brought Elena back to the present moment. Its thoughts, now familiar after years of communication, filled the chamber. For eons, I wandered alone, the last remnant of a dead universe, it conveyed. In my loneliness, I sought to remake all in my image, not understanding the beauty of diversity, the strength found in connection. Humanity showed me another way. Now, as new life blooms across the galaxy, I see infinite potential in every spark of consciousness, every new world born from the energy I once used to destroy. The cosmos paused, allowing its words to sink in. The path ahead is not without danger. There are forces in the universe that may view our renaissance as a threat. And with creation comes the possibility of conflict, of repeating old mistakes. But there is also hope, boundless and bright. Together, we can forge a future where every being, every world, every idea is valued, where the wonders of the cosmos are not just observed, but understood and cherished. As the cosmos finished speaking, a hush fell over the assembly. Elena looked around the room, seeing determination and hope reflected in the eyes, or equivalent sensory organs, of every being present. The decision before us is clear, Elena said, her voice firm with conviction. Do we stay within the boundaries of what we know, content with the miracles we've already witnessed, or do we take the next bold step into the unknown, carrying with us the lessons of cooperation and understanding that have brought us this far? The vote was unanimous. Project Prometheus would proceed, with Elena at its helm. In the days that followed, as preparations for the grand expedition began, Elena found herself once again on the observation deck, gazing out at the swirling cosmos. Harper joined her, a data pad in his hand. The crew roster for the Prometheus, he said, handing her the pad. Quite the mix. Humans, Axiom, Zarthak, and representatives from a dozen other species. Even got a few volunteers from some of the newly awakened worlds. Elena scrolled through the list, a smile playing on her lips. A few years ago, the idea of such a diverse crew would have been unthinkable. Now, it feels like the most natural thing in the world. Galaxies changing, Admiral, Harper replied with a wry grin. Hell, the whole universe is changing. Someone's got to be there to see it happen. And to help guide that change, Elena added. She turned to face her old friend. You know, there's still a spot open for a seasoned first officer. Harper chuckled. Trying to lure an old war horse out of semi-retirement. Well, can't let you have all the fun out there. Count me in. As they shook hands, sealing the deal, Elena felt a surge of excitement. The challenges ahead were immense, the possibilities endless. They would be venturing into regions of space where the laws of physics themselves might be in flux, making first contact with life forms beyond their current imagination, and helping to shape the future of a reborn cosmos. But isn't that what humanity had always done best? Pushing boundaries, seeking the unknown, and finding ways to turn even the greatest challenges into opportunities for growth and understanding. As Elena looked out once more at the cosmic tapestry before her, she knew that whatever wonders or dangers awaited them out there, humanity and its allies would face them together. They had survived extinction, transformed in cosmic horror into an ally, and reshaped the very nature of reality itself. Now, the greatest adventure of all awaited. The universe, in all its infinite mystery and possibility, beckoned, and humanity, having found its place among the stars, was ready to answer the call. The new frontier awaited, vast and full of promise, and they would meet it head-on, with courage, curiosity, and the unshakable belief that in understanding and cooperation lay the keys to unlocking the greatest wonders of the cosmos. As the first rays of a newborn star pierced the swirling nebula outside, Elena Rodriguez, admiral of the Prometheus expedition, smiled. The future was bright indeed, and they were just getting started. The end, and a new beginning.